Yeah, so I guess what'd you say, 2010, 12? That I remember, man. I remember this guy calling me. I don't know. I look back. I think it was you were building shocks for Daniel Hemrick. Was probably what in short track racing, probably your first customer. I mean, not necessarily, but
down south, yes.
Yeah.
So we were doing a lot of stuff in the Midwest with Fredrickson and Chris Wimmer, Travis Sauter, those guys. But I mean, out of the Midwest tour, like we were doing nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up getting hooked up with Hemrick, and
that's when he was driving.
Carswell '98. Yep.
Oh, it's not before that?
It was Carswell '98,
Okay.
And he was
first
also
year of the Southern Super
driving
Series
for. I believe it was actually the year before.
It was a Jack Link's car.
Yes.
Who was
It
my mom went blank.
Carswell '98, and he also drove a pass car for I can't remember the feller's name.
Yeah.
So he kind of had two different cars, and then Legends, which we obviously didn't do anything with that, but he raced a bunch of Legends car stuff back then. And
yeah, I mean, I remember. It's funny how you remember certain things about certain times. Man, I remember riding down the road and you calling me, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" I don't even remember whose shock I was using at the time or anything, and I was like, "Golly, here's another one of these guys that wants you to try something." He's
right, yeah.
And I think for the longest time, I think that was right after I stopped driving for Ronnie, and I went back to my own personal car, I think, and I was like, man, this guy's calling me again. And I think you called me there for a while, and I was like, I'm okay where I'm at. And next thing you know, I'll send you something, just try 'em. And then the rest is history after that. So I guess you sent me a good set that first time, I guess.
Well, it actually went down a little bit different than that, the way I remember it. But so I did call you a few times, and you didn't answer the phone.
That's accurate.
So, like, you didn't say nothing because you didn't answer the phone, right?
Yeah.
But the same thing happened with Hemrick when I started calling him too. But yeah, so we ended up we were in Nashville for a race, and you and Aaron were there. I'm pretty sure y'all were not married yet.
Yeah, I think that's when I first met her.
It may have been.
Yeah.
And I bought you guys like a 6-pack of beer at the bar and just dropped it off on your table, and I'm like, just call me already,
Yeah.
So after this whole situation,
I couldn't imagine you buying me a 6-pack of beer.
or only a 6-pack, right?
That's right.
But anyway, so after that, we ended up going to Pensacola to test.
That's right. Yep, I do remember that.
And this is like the longest walk in the history of my life, right? So Bubba gets out and he unloads his car, and he was really on top of it at the time, right? And he goes out and he makes a run, and he comes in, and he's like, got his chest poked out. And he's like,
come on now.
She's as good as she always is, And I'm like,
at Five Flies, it was okay to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because back then it was me, Augie, and Chase.
That's right.
We were between us three. We were winning some races.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Some show.
So anyway, we put these shocks on, and you go out and you make like half a lap, and you come back in, and I'm standing down in the corner.
I still only run a half a lap to this day.
And I had to walk all the way back, only make it, like, we didn't even make a full lap, and I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
And I get back, and he says, I've never had so much front end grip, it caught me off guard, and I had to figure out what to do. Yeah. He's like, I got to think about it for a minute.
I had to pull in, regroup.
That was the first day.
Yeah. Had to pull in and regroup, and kind of was like, good Lord. Yeah, I do remember that.
And I'd say, I don't know, probably been together for about 97.9% of the time since then.
Yeah, it's been a lot. The only time we've done anything different is when I've driven for other people. Well, kind of done a few other different things that I kind of, but we talked about.
Very minimal.
Yep, very little. So, but it's been great. That's one thing that, and ever since then we've had a relationship. People, we're friends. We put, racing is just a little part of it. It really is at the end of the day.
It is.
And, well, it goes back to, and you're a big part of the reason I started traveling racing. Because I would have never probably went to California if you wouldn't have pushed me there. And then we won that, and we was like, let's go to Washington. I would have never done those things. So as far as me getting out and racing at different places and start traveling, I feel like a lot of it's because of you, because you gave me that confidence to be able to do it and in our program. So, and you're probably the only person that I know that my dad can say yes to. usually when I ask him a question or I ask for a motor or I ask for a new car, he's like, "No, you're not getting race what you got. Figure it out. Like, get it done." Like he's hard on us, but this guy comes over and asks for something, he can get it done. So
yeah,